Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha and this is a channel where you get tips and tricks on how to live a delightful life. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a few things that I gave up to get out of debt. So if you didn't know, I managed to pay off my car in less than 2 years. And when I actually got the car, my installments were double what I had budgeted. So I managed to do that in less than 2 years. So what were some of the things I gave up? The first one was alcohol. I gave up drinking alcohol because in those days I used to like cocktails and what I felt were fairly expensive drinks. I was like, well, there's no point. One, I don't want to be drinking and driving. I kind of like buffed myself up and gave myself those excuses. I don't want to be drinking and driving. I don't like the idea of paying so much for drinks, and I didn't like the idea of drinking cocktails that were alcohol free. So I would switch down my drinks to drinking Coke, which would look like I was having Coke and rum, because that was my drink, Coke and rum mostly. And I decided to switch to just drinking the Coke or cranberry. It would still look like I'm drinking hard liquor, but not really, because I also discovered that I can be fun without the booze. I can have fun without the booze. The next one was changing my hair every 3 or 4 weeks. I actually invested in a wig, and that I still have that wig now, more than 5 years later. I still have that wig now. So I did the calculations. I did the math. So I was changing my hair every 3 to 4 weeks. And I would get a new hair piece. So it would be those Daniela, Shkari, frizzy one, soft braid, whatever. Then I did the math. This is about 120 to have it put in, and then another 120 or something like that for the actual hair piece. And I did the math. Obviously, I roughly calculated 10 months. It ended up being about 2,000-3,000 rand. And then the wig, I bought it for about 1.6. I bought it for about 1.6, 1.8, which I still have the wig now. At that time, it was just a weave. I still had that weave. I hadn't got into the whole wig thing. Then the next one was buying certain brands and buying things I didn't need. So I stopped buying magazines. I stopped buying from certain brands. I used to go to Legit all the time. I love their outfits, especially because they've got that business casual vibe going on, and it's very nice. I stopped going to Legit. I started getting into town, into Small Street, and sometimes you'd find those things like 20 rand, 30 rand for a t-shirt, or 50 rand for a blouse. Something similar, you'd find it for 100 rand in another store, and it would last you just as long. I've got some outfits with me that I've had that I bought in Joburg CBD. I'll just make my budget, okay? I want to buy a few things, so I would also keep a running list of the clothes I wanted to buy, and then I'll buy them. I also started buying dupes for perfume. This was not wise, but it's what I needed to do at the time. Then the other one I quit was my cell phone contract, which I always had to have insurance as well. I don't know why, but I cancelled my cell phone contract. I cancelled my insurance. And most importantly, I stopped caring about what people think about me. So sometimes I would be like, I can't go out today. It's not in my budget. So if you watch my budget video, you know I now budget for going out, for doing stuff. Well, right now I'm not going out. I mean, most restaurants are closed, but I would budget to go out. And one time I went to a restaurant with my friend and her friends. Okay, so I think that's where the mistake happened. Then these people ordered ribs and cocktails and all that. I think that my budget 120, and I drank the stuff and I ate my food. And then at the end, these women I will be polite. These women were like, we're gonna split the bill. So I think it was 5 of us. So the bill came 1,000 divided by 5. I'm like, no, that is not what happened. I ordered this because I know this is the money I have, and this is my tip for the guy. 100 rand. I think it was, my drink was 105, and then my tip was going to be the 15 rand. My drink and food was 105, and my tip was going to be 15 rand. I have 120. That's it. Something along those lines. And I stood my ground. I said, no, that's not how we work. And my friend was like, oh, I'll pay for you. I'm like, no, I'm paying what I ate and drank. I'm not gonna pay for people. I didn't order ribs. If I wanted ribs, I would have bought the ribs. But right now I'm working towards something, so I'm not doing that. So the last thing I gave up was the idea of living on my own. Now this isn't anything crazy. I live with my sister, and it's just the two of us, and I'm fine, I'm happy with it. But at the time I wanted to live closer to work. I wanted my commute to work to feel safer. I was working in an industrial area, and sometimes I'll be the only woman in the taxi, and if it wasn't that, the taxi would be stinking. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this environment, And so I thought if I moved closer to work, I could walk to work or something along those lines, which is not really a safer option. But those are the things I was thinking about. But then I thought about it more and more, which is probably what pushed me harder to get my own car, for me to feel secure on my commute to work. So those are the few things that I gave up for me to get out of debt. This is just to give you an idea, to say you can give these things up temporarily. So like the alcohol, I after all my traveling and paying off my car and being able to have money for travel and stuff, I drink again when we don't have alcohol right now. But magazines, I read them online, and now I'm sorry to all the magazines, they're actually shutting down. So I made the switch from paper to online. Cell phone contract, I managed to get a new contract now, so that's fine. And then buying certain brands, there's still certain things I don't buy, some things I buy. So I'm like, this, I really want this, I buy it now. But at that time, it is what I needed to do for me to get out of debt. I didn't want to be owing a lot of money, and I didn't want the pressure of having to pay such a big bill. And now I'm so grateful that I paid off my car then, because like right now, I don't have consistent income coming in. The bank would still want their money. They always want their money. And I'm someone who doesn't want to owe anybody anything, So yeah, those are the few things I did to get out of debt, or to get out of debt faster. If there are any tips, please drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get updates when I post again tomorrow as part of our Veda. Thank you, and bye.